what if anything do you know about the officer that died? What have you done, or sort of how have you explain a little bit about like your relationship with that, and what if any responsibility you sort of do take in that, and how you kind of articulate that to yourself?
Well, I know that my bad decision making and just being with that person, and it definitely made a contribution. There's no way I didn't do it. Like no,
Yeah.
that's I'm not that guy.
Right.
I bought the guy there. I didn't know he had a gun, but I bought him there. The guy who shot the cop. I did read up a little on the cop. Went to John Jay College. He was a criminal justice major. He was a good son. His parents loved him. He took them to doctor's appointments and the stuff that I used to do with my dad. And it was very sad. It was very
Yeah.
sad. He was younger than I was. He was 28 years old.
Wow.
And I remember when I saw the funeral when we were in Bellevue, they had the funeral was on TV because like in New York, anywhere when a cop gets killed, it's big.
Yeah.
And they had this big funeral, and I remember seeing his dad. He was up in the front. His name was Pedro Enchategui. He was up in the front in the wheelchair, and I remember he looked like my dad. Like he had that old school feel. He was an old school guy. He had the sweater that just like my dad would have wore, like a fancy, like a dressed up sweater. Like doesn't want to dress up, but all right, I'll throw the sweater on. That's what it looked like to me. That was just like my dad. And just to see the way the guy was like, oh, was crying, bro. It made me cry. I saw that, and I think like I partially caused that. That man right there crying for his son, I partially caused that because I didn't want to stop doing drugs when so many people told me, Lilo, you're gonna die,
Stop
you're
that
gonna
shit.
kill somebody, you know. And then this is really when it. But now there's nothing I could do. His mom died after that. His father, they died from broken hearts.
Yeah.
They lost his son, and it's like I can't do anything to change what has already happened, but I can change me and moving forward and try. Like I said, I dedicated a big portion of my life to giving back and wanting to help people because this is what happens when you're addicted to drugs. There's no saying what's going to happen. People are going to get killed. You're going to kill yourself, and a lot of times not even intentional, but
Right.
it's just the nature of this beast. And if I could try to educate some people, and say, if you could just help one person, yeah, that's a great thing. But I want to help more than one person.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to help as many as I possibly can
Yeah.
to not go down that road
Yeah.
because I had everything. And then just like, and it doesn't discriminate, like I did come, my parents, middle class, we were well off. My dad worked his balls off. We all always had what we wanted. And then to get thrown into movies and I had everything, and then when it came to the drugs, there's, all that's right out the window, your moral compass. It's like, so.
Was there a time where you're like, look, I need this right now. I need to be in here. This is good for me. And then was there a time where you knew, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I can be of service out there. And could you be of service while you were incarcerated?
Yeah, because there was, people would write me and stuff like that. And, people would write me and, say that they're struggling. And, I hope what happened to you doesn't happen to me. Is there any advice you can give me and
What do
stuff
you
like
say to somebody in that situation?
Well, I just, I always ask how old they are. And when they're younger, obviously they have a better shot.
Yeah.
Like, because I always let them know, use that to your advantage. You're young. You have your whole life ahead of you. And it's not like you're so set in your ways where you're doing this for freaking 30 years. You're not even 22 years old. You know what I mean? So I try to look at the situation and try to see where their advantage is and what they can use to take them. And I try to emphasize in that and say, listen, you do have a lot more than a lot of people in the battle you're facing right now.
Yeah.
So you got to use this.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason. You got to
Yeah.
use it. But then coming home, right, then you got all this. Because my friend started an Instagram page for me. And so many people misuse it and they post bullshit. But I saw this and, and I saw like as I'm posting stuff, yeah, you got like the whole people that, like respect me and, follow me all that for my acting and stuff like that. But I could see it was a lot more people on my page that were, dealt with, were going through addiction and stuff like that. And as time was going on, I've seen all these people reach out. And I was always posting this inspirational stuff and stuff that I really means stuff to me.
Absolutely.
Like, because this little, whatever it is, I remember going through this exact thing and remember how I felt. And I'm going to post this. You know what I mean? So all this, and I guess people were recognizing like this stuff is pretty authentic. Like this guy's pretty real. And then it just got to the point where you got people reaching out and stuff like that. and you got like, grown men and women crying, or moms and dads, Lilo, my son, and this and that. And then I remember it was this one time. I FaceTimed this kid, and he was like, "Oh, I loved you in the Bronx Tale. I always wanted to be like Calogero," and that's when I first saw it. And he was like, I'm all fucked up on oxys, and I can't stop, and blah blah blah. And he was saying my brother died, and it makes it harder to deal with. And I remember I video chatted this guy, and he was like so happy when he saw him. He's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you," and this and that. And then like we were talking. His kid's name was Phil, and then we were talking, and then like he was like staying like in touch with me. Like, "Hey, Lilo, man, since I spoke to you, I've been clean for 2 weeks. It hasn't been easy, bro, but like you said, it's worth it, man. You know." And then, "Hey, Lilo," and then then the kid's mother, "Hey, Lilo, I'm Philip's mom. Thank you so much.
Cool.
You gave me my son back. Thank you so much, kiddo. I love you. If there's anything, I make a really great chicken casserole, and you come over." But this is real shit. This is real shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is not the. This is real stuff. This is a grown woman saying, "You can come to my house. I will cook you whatever because of how you made me feel."
And then better than getting in the fucking club with your boys when you were. I mean, that's real power. Yeah.
So then it was like, wow, this is in this situation. I don't want to use powerful, but before what you were saying with the movies and people, that is powerful.
Yeah.
But this, I don't want to use as powerful because it sounds.
It can be of service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because it helps me too.
Yeah.
It's symbiotic.
Right. That's right.
It benefits you and me.
Yeah.
This is how I stay plugged in.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, I'm telling these guys, these kids, we meet up, we go have coffee, and I like, you could see already, I like to joke around.
Yeah.
And I don't shut up.
Yeah.
So, so these kids are laughing and stuff like that, and they see like maybe we could do something else with my life. Look at this. This is great, laughing. I wasn't laughing. We were doing drugs and stuff like that. But when you're telling someone to live their life a certain way and what they should do and what they shouldn't do, my opinion, not that I'm, my opinion, this is what you should do. Live your life like that now.
Absolutely.
In order for that person to prosper
and
to get from you what was meant for them to get, part of it is you doing your end.
That both motivates you, it holds you to it.
Right, because if I say, God forbid, I just talk to these kids, I love them, they're such good kids. If I go fuck up right now, they may say, "Oh, look at Lilo fucked up, who cares?"
That's right.
And that kid ends up dead.
That's right. And I would also say to the same extent, man, that, whether you want to use the word power or whatever you want to say, but, there's, again, a lot of people I get the pleasure to talk to. I would say you're in this enormously incredibly, I would say, powerful position, because I think only when you've actually really been in that valley, for these kids, like anybody can come tell you, "Hey man, I think you should change your life." Like, I'm just saying, like, I see what you're doing now, I think you should change it up. But for you to be like, "Hey, like, I've been where you've been, I've seen it all." And I think it's like only those that have been in that valley can be up on the mountain and reach up and pull people up there. Yeah, they know when it's real. They know when it's real. Absolutely. Yeah. And they don't want, nobody wants to get preached at by somebody, right? Yeah. But it's like, "Hey, look, man, like, I care for you because I've been there. I see me in you.
And I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I can see it. So before it happens, why don't you stop? Because I'm telling you it's going to happen. So don't let it happen for you to see it. I'm telling you it happened to me."
Anybody who has been down, in that valley, like we talked about, they've dealt with things where they're horribly ashamed. They're horribly embarrassed. They're horribly disgusted with parts of yourself. But you have to move past that. Like, the only way to combat about it is not about what other people think about you. But I'm just wondering, how do you deal with that? How present is that in your life, and how does that make you feel? And I'm just wondering what is your relationship with law enforcement now? Like, how do you feel about that?
Collectively, when they're like, when it's online and stuff like that, they always have to take the position like this kid. But when I see them on the street, like one, individually, a lot of them are really cool. I've always gotten along with cops. Like before I got in trouble, they loved me, man. Like when I was out in the city and stuff, "Oh, Calogero," take pictures with the cop. I've always had respect for the cops, and I still have respect for the cops. That, that happened that night, and it happened to be a cop. But I would say it's definitely better than it was. And you're right. You're absolutely right. The mind is the source of all of our woes. And I can't, like, if I think about this stuff and let it get to me, it's going to be my demise. It's going to kill me. The stress is going to kill me. So the way I deal with it is Like, just keep putting good out in the world.
That's it.
Be kind.
Good for you.
How can somebody say anything about that?
Yeah.
They're gonna say, they're gonna say, what do you leave that guy alone, man? He's been
Yeah.
home. He's
Yeah.
been nothing but good. He helps people.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. We know he didn't shoot the guy.
Yeah.
You know, but the fact still remains that there's somebody's dead, and this service is something I'm gonna do forever.